Okay, hey everyone. So this is the topic that we had, the concept on image and pre-image that most of you did not get right. Image means I'm asking the F value of a subset, and the subset S is contained in domain, right? And the pre-image is when I'm looking for the inverse value of a subset S, but in this case, the subset is contained in codomain. So this is a refresher for my Tuesday, Thursday class right now. Okay, and this is the activity. You all have lecture notes. This is what we are going to be doing in class today. Expect a similar question in exam. Question like this, question like number 3, and and more like this, okay, in exam. So I'm going to do an example, you're going to do the rest. So I'm going to pick the first question because that is also tricky to find the image and pre-image of a given set. So we will not write on this. We will go to the new page. Okay, because that's, oh, let me hide myself there. That's what we're gonna. So the question is, my function, this is what you do. Follow this step by step. This is recording, right? Yeah, okay. F is going from R, the real numbers, to real numbers. The function is given by 2 times absolute value of X. Do we know about this function? Have you seen it before? Right? Absolute value, no matter what you put in here, you get a positive output, right? We have seen this before. Okay. And we are given a subset. Now, so far, we are only given a set, which is 3 and 5. What is the domain here? Real numbers, right? This is the domain. What is the codomain? Well, that's again real numbers. Okay. Part A of this activity is asking me, this is just the question. I did not solve anything so far. I just wrote the domain and codomain. Part A is asking me F of S. Immediately know that this is asking me image of the set under the function F. Right? That's what we know. If we recall, suppose there was not a set here. Suppose there was a single element. You have done this many times. Do not confuse yourself in exam, okay? What if there was just an element, say 7? What would be the image? What do you usually do? Right? What if there was a negative element? What do? You just plug it in. It's going to be positive 22, right? That's what you do. So it's the same concept. Instead of an element, we have a set. Now it helps to, what is a no? How did I tell you to remember this question? For image questions like this, plot your set, in this case, that's 3, 5, on the real line. 5 is included. On real line x-axis, right? Because you usually pick your 7 here and then you find what is the value, right? So that's what you're going to do and see what could be the possible output. So I'm gonna draw this graph again. You don't really have to draw the graph. Just if this is just a visual, you don't really need to do this, but it helps. So 3 and 5, I plot in here. 3 will be open, 5 will be closed, and I'm looking for all the values for this interval. What could be my possible output? That's all I'm looking for. Question clear? So how do I know? Well, 3 will go to 6, but 3 is not included, so we cannot include that. right? And everything above 3 will go to, everything here above 6. But the end point, we are interested in the end point now. It will go to 10, and it's included, right? That's what you're looking for. Now there was no breaks here. You were not kicking anything out in the domain. So this was still a doable problem. So what is the answer? What is the answer for part A of your lecture notes? F of S is 6 not included, 10 included. Okay? This is exactly how you solve this in exam. You plot it on your x-axis, you find the values. It is not easy. Do not just multiply each entry by 2. That is wrong. Okay, you should always plot it. Have a visual. Are we kicking out something? Are we not kicking out something? Think like that. Now let's do this one, the inverse of the same thing. Now the second part of the same question is this, part B. What is F inverse of S, right? Part B is same concept, F inverse of S. Now, as soon as I give you, find me the inverse, you know you're talking about pre-image. Pre-image, think of it like this. Like what values of X will give me 14? Can you tell me based on the question? F of X is 2 modulo X, right? Same function. What values of X will give me 14? That's the question. This is what I'm looking for, right? This makes sense? Think of it as a singleton element. Can you tell me which values of X will give me 14? Right? How many agree with Aditya? Good job. How many do not agree with Aditya? How many would like me to explain this again? Okay, all doing good. Because if I plug in X to be 7, I will get F of 7 as 14. If I plug X to be negative 7, I will get as 14, right? But it gets complicated when you're talking about the pre-image. So you remember this process to do it in exam to avoid any errors. Note. Now my subset S, which is the same thing, 3, 5, is contained in the codomain, right? Now we're talking about elements in the codomain and we're looking for possible outputs. What are you going to do? Plot S on the y-axis. That's what you have to remember, because we are looking for the X values. We are already given the Y values. So let me draw the graph one more time. Now I'm writing a lot because I'm explaining it here. You don't have to show all this, but show some work so that I know that you know what you're talking about. Okay. Now I'm gonna plot my interval. So there is a open interval 3 and a close value 5. Now you want to go the other way around. You want to see from the bottom point, right? What values of X will give me 3? Now I have to be careful. I need to check both sides because there are 2 values of X that could possibly give me 3. Think of it like this. What values of X will give me 3, right? Now, if you wrote 6 here, you were very wrong, right? Because X needs to be 1.5. So it's always important to have the function in mind and know where you are plugging in the values to find the intervals. Make sense? What about 5? I'm jumping directly to the endpoint because I know that everything in between will be somewhere here, right? And then 5 will also go. So 2.5 negative and 2.5 positive. Now you might wonder, why didn't we go on the negative side in the previous part? Anybody's wondering that? Come on, you must wonder. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we go on the negative side? Aditya. Somebody else. A good try. Okay, somebody else explain this for me.
Is it because we're plotting on the x-axis?
Exactly. That's the reason, okay? Understand why we're doing this. We are plotting, in this case, we were plotting the S on the x-axis. There was no negative component. There was no negative here, right? Because you plot it here and then you look for the output. Output is never negative, so we ignore that, right? In this case, makes sense? Now, I need you to understand this like you would not forget it in your sleep. That's how you will do it in exam, okay? Here, I'm plotting the set on the y-axis. So both sides matter. I'm looking for the, why is it not working? Oh, come on, it always does this to me. What is wrong with this? Yeah, okay. We are plotting it on the, hold on, let me save it. It had to happen when I'm recording this. Come on, where should I save it now? Why don't I see desktop here? There. Okay, saved. Oh, my pen has stopped working. It has happened in the past. I think it happened with your class, right? Let me close this and then let me open it again. So the distinction must be clear on why we are not taking the negative values. It matters where you plot it on the graph. I need to find a better app. Come on. Okay, so we were in this question and I was trying to explain this to you guys, right? This is the area we plot when we're looking for pre-image. So it matters that you have to look for all possible X values on both sides that might give me this Y-axis. Now, what are those X values? They're from here to here, this not included, this is included, and they're from here to here, right? So the pre-image, what happens to the pre-image? It is two intervals. You always go from left to right, from 1.5 union 1.5 to 2.5. Now the inverse does not mean in 1 over f of x. Okay, that's wrong. Do not do that in exam. You have to do all this work for this activity in a lecture notes on page 6. And this is it. This is how you solve these questions. Now I can stop sharing this and I can end this video.